Right. Pick on somebody your own size.
How much of this are we going to be able to actually use for the podcast?
This is going to be like a 2-minute long podcast, you guys.
Hey, and welcome to Grass Touchers. Thank you for joining us. I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's literally going to be like, and I'm Greg. Anyway, Bloodborne was pretty cool. Bleep.
You just hear up.
I don't know.
Hello, and welcome to Grass Touchers, the show where the three of us pals talk about video games, how much we like them, what we're into these days, despite how much little time we have for video games. I am Jake.
I am Jared.
And I'm Greg.
Let's get right into it. Jared, what's up? Tell me what you've been playing.
I have been playing Dota, obviously. I'm going to skip past that part. I have been cooking in the sun. I'm going to skip past that part.
Okay, cool.
I have started kind of getting back into playing some Tekken. My brother's been kind of getting me wanting to play Street Fighter again. Are we
talking like fight stick, like legit setup?
Yeah. That's how I prefer to play, and that's sort of an ongoing. It's not really a debate in that community, but like there's people who are like, you've got to get a fight stick because it's like the true authentic experience. And it's like, well, it's really just about preference. There's guys on main stage at huge tournaments playing with pad. You know, it's like it's not a thing.
If you know the game, you could smoke me with DDR controllers.
Sure.
Like it's about knowing.
Can you imagine?
Right.
I bet somebody's out there that could do it.
Well, there are those guys with like severe debilitating problems with their brain that like play Dota with like Guitar Hero guitar. Who did I see?
I saw one that was somebody beat Elden Ring with a DDR controller. I don't know to what extent or how the god they did that, but supposedly there was somebody out there that did that.
Yeah. What? I think I saw someone playing Dota with like it was either Donkey Kong bongos or like
Oh, I remember that game on the GameCube, the bongo game.
Yeah, Donkey Konga. It was pretty fun. Anyways,
Deathless Elden Ring run on a dance pad.
Greg, your newest challenge. Can you do it?
Ridiculous. Boy, yeah, you lose a lot of weight. All that moving around. Are you kidding me?
Thanks. Jake's telling me I need to lose a lot of weight, so I'll do it.
No.
I'm not saying you need to lose a lot of weight. I'm just saying you could.
You could. It would be a natural byproduct.
It'll probably be good for you. Something you should look into doing.
Forget I said it. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, it would be cool to do that one of these days if we get bored enough. I don't think any of us play enough video games where we're like, how many games do you have to play to get bored enough to be like, you know what? I think I want to do this on some bizarre peripheral. Outside of that, I've started playing. You guys ever heard of Pokemon ROM hacks before?
Maybe.
Yes, I think.
They're basically like, I would say fan-made, but like obviously there's extremely talented people everywhere who you can categorize as fans who like, during their day job they're excellent programmers, and they're making these Pokemon games that are essentially just they're variations on the old games. You basically use the ROM and then this like kind of patches over them, and it's a completely different game. And they add a ton of new features.
But they started with sort of a carbon copy of Pokemon as like a mold, a template, and then they sort of innovated on it from there. Right.
They use the actual program from the games to kind of like put a skin over it in a way, but it's much more than that. It's become much more than that. Sure. I have a bunch of them on my bootleg Game Boy SP. I started playing one this week called Pokemon Clover, which turns out to be a 4chan themed Pokemon game, And
That's
it is
not good.
Yeah,
That's a
no.
recipe for disaster potentially.
It's very funny. It's very funny. It's pretty irreverent actually. Like there's a lot of swearing in it, but so it's kind of weird to see that in a Pokemon game.
Yeah.
But obviously it's very unofficial, but it's a good time. But yeah, same old outside of that, and getting excited for some stuff next week. Deg, what you got going on?
Yeah, I played this week. Obviously, played Elden Ring, all the usual things. But I got Bloodborne. Played that for about 2 hours. It was really fun, really hard. I'll talk about it a little bit later when I do my segment. Played what else? Liza P, which was also really, really fun. I thought in ways Liza P, some of the combat things were like harder than Bloodborne, and then I got past the first, 5 enemies in Bloodborne, and I was like, never mind, this game's way harder.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So both of those games were really fun. That was I would say a good experience in both. And then Madden 24, we had some friends over last night, and one of them was like, yeah, Madden 24 is on sale for like $6 on the PlayStation Store. And I was like, all right. And it was one of those things where like the guy that was hanging out with us was like a football guy,
Yeah.
And like, and we played, and I was like, all right, this is actually like really fun. I actually had a really good time. I think it's the first football game I've played since ever.
Yeah. President Bush was in office.
Yes, since Obama was a child. And it was fun. It was I particularly liked like how, and again I'll talk about this more later, but the mechanics of the game have been like the amount of things you can do in Madden now. It's pretty impressive. It's overwhelming a little bit. Like that was my one kind of complaint was like,
Sure.
not only do I have a glaring lack of football knowledge, but
Yeah.
I also don't understand the controls of this game because there are so many things you can do and ways you can, manipulate
It's
each play.
changed so much, dude. I think the last time I played a Madden game was like 19 or 20 or something.
Yeah.
And I thought, I was getting into fantasy football around that time. And I thought, let me give this a whirl and see what I think. And there's so much more like granular and fine-tuned control that you have over the individual player that you're playing, where like it's almost like left trigger is your left foot and right trigger is your right foot, and you have to like juke a certain way, and you have to like, you can be really sort of finessing the controller in a way that I don't remember from the past. Like when I enjoyed football games was like 2009, on the freaking GameCube probably. Like I don't remember doing this. Oh my gosh,
The extent of my football game experience is NFL Blitz 2000, which I still maintain to this day is the greatest football game ever created.
Ballin',
because
right,
you can dress as a hot dog and slow-mo tackle people, and it's fantastic. But no, it was pleasant, and so Bloodborne, Liza P, and Madden. What about you, Jake?
There's so much variety. I'm so jealous. I have had a pretty dry week video game wise. My wife and I have had the house to ourselves. It's just been us and the dog all week, and that has been delightful in terms of quality time and touching grass.
He's seen some stuff.
My poor dog. I've had a couple of sessions with Civ where I the same game that I started last week sometime that I mentioned last week, where I'm playing as Tsar Peter from Russia. I am just leagues ahead of everybody else on the map, and I'm making alliances, and then people declare war on me, and they regret it immediately. It's just so much fun, and I'm getting into the atomic age where I'm like discovering uranium, and like I'm researching freaking nukes, like it's about to happen.
Nice.
And so I'm coming to a close of a nice little Civ campaign. I promised I would play more Elden Ring. Poor Deg was Steam stalking me the other day, and he was like, "His Elden Ring playtime hasn't gone up." I promise that's back on the table next week, or really even tonight and tomorrow kind of time frame. Because my sister-in-law, who lives with us, she's back from her gig, and we'll be back to real life more or less tomorrow because my kids will be back and all that kind of stuff. So, I just from a grass touching perspective, I got my motorcycle endorsement on my license on Wednesday. I went to the DMV and knocked that out. because
Nice.
I took the basic rider course last weekend. All I had to do is pass the written test and pay like $20 and get a new license. And then Thursday, I was going to work from home, but I ended up having to go into the office, and I got to ride my electric BMW CE04 all the way to work and back, and it was sick. That thing
Nice.
rips, and I got to actually like drive it for real. You know, I've just been kind of zipping around the neighborhood, not really getting on the highway, not really going, you know, down these 2-lane country roads that I now get to drive on to get to work. And for those that are interested, it took about 39% of my battery to get to work, about the same to get home, and so I had like 20% left when I got home, and
20% left with to go sell crank and do weird.
That's right. I could take the long way home through Fayetteville and take
Beautiful.
up my street corner and sling some dope. And
That's right.
So yeah, that's a huge development. And then Friday, the weather sucked that I didn't get to ride it to work. I'm not going to be one of those ride or die guys where I get like rain gear and a freaking motorcycle poncho and like ride in the rain. I think that's absolutely retarded. It's already like mega dangerous to ride a motorcycle. Why on earth would you do it when it's raining? You know, like I'm just not going to do that. But the weather's looking good Monday, Tuesday, and honestly, maybe Wednesday I'll go into the office. I was planning on working from home on Wednesday, but maybe I'll just go in so I can ride. I was telling my sister-in-law, that's what's hilarious about being able to do this now. I love working from home. It's very, very valuable for me and my family. But now I kind of want to go into the office so I can ride, you know.
Nice.
And, I'll play that by ear. But anyway, that was very, very cool, and I'm looking forward to riding around some more. Yeah, it's been Civ 6, and oh, that's right. My segment that I was going to go over, I ended up getting the demo of the game that Jared mentioned last week that was on the Steam Summer Sale, No Plan B. And I tell you what, boys, this game is so engaging, like mentally, and it's not twitchy, and it doesn't cost you any like dexterity, right? There's no keyboard mouse sort of warrior stuff going on.
And it's not a birth control simulator.
It's
are we clear?
also not in any way related to the birth control.
For the listeners,
Plan
we
B.
clarify
Yeah.
that.
If you're listening to this and you're triggered by the word Plan B, don't worry, it has nothing to do with that. This game is a top-down, but also you move the camera around, like tactical situation simulator kind of thing, where you get these little dudes that are sort of low poly, cartoonish, and you're given a procedurally generated map of some kind. At least I think most of them are, once you get out of the training anyway. And so you get like, 4 walls, or you get a couple buildings that are linked together, and there's windows and there's doors, and you tell your little guys, you give them a playbook, so to speak. And so you're drawing a line, like walk over here, open this door, have the other guy throw a flashbang in, and then run in, be facing this direction, and shoot whatever's needing shooting, and then advance from there and go to this spot. But what's interesting is they don't get to react to there's sort of a fog of war thing on the interior of the map, right? If you imagine the roof has just been torn off, you can see inside the building, but you don't see the enemy locations or the hostage locations or the bomb locations or any of the terrain or whatever. So all you know is there's bad guys in that building, or there's a hostage in that building, and you need to come up with a foolproof scenario that no matter where the bad guys are, you will have checked every corner and cleared everything out and successfully navigated this scenario. And it's so, we talked about this last week, and it turns out it was very correct what you said, Jared. It's a very, I bet I could do it a little better than that.
Right.
Oh, I bet I could be a little slicker. Oh, I bet I won't get shot if I open up this door instead.
Right.
Oh, I bet if I... And so I was doing stuff, you guys, where I had like one guy slowly walk up to a door, but then not open it yet, and have the other guy at the same time be moving toward a window. And your guy will just shoot through a window if he sees a bad guy through the window. And so I had him like face this direction and then strafe past the window while this door is being opened and a flashbang is being thrown in. So you're getting things to happen at the same time, and the enemy can't really target one of your guys very well. And it's a little fiddly. I'll say the controls are a little... it doesn't always look amazing. The way that you draw the little lines, sometimes your guys are like wiggling back and forth, and it doesn't look super slick all of the time. And I did find myself like just kind of hitting delete and starting over when I realized, if I do it this direction, I'm going to run out of time, so I need to make them get through this door quicker, so I need to actually rearrange my strat. Because that's the other thing, there's a timer. And it tells you as you're making your little playbook, sort of X's and O's and lines, it tells you how much time each of those actions is going to take. And if you're going to be out of time before you even get to where the bomb is, then of course that would be a problem. So, but yeah, the fact that there's a demo, oh my gosh, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
All three of us, and certainly our listeners, please check this out. It is literally free, and the demo gives you just enough, play time in of a sandbox to really get the idea of the game. It lets you go through all the training missions, give you the gist of the game, and then it gives you the first sort of 3 levels, I think it is, where you can get to the end of the first kind of chapter.
Are you playing on deck?
Kind of mission. I didn't play it on the deck, actually. I wasn't sure how it would control on deck. I did play with a mouse because I think once I saw what the gameplay was going to be like, I was like, I am glad I have a mouse so I can draw the lines and like make this work. Tell me about your experience with it, Jared. What did you think, and how did you play it?
I only got to play about half an hour of it on my deck, and a lot of that time it was spent like fiddling with the controls and kind of like I really don't think it's optimized for it at all, because there was times when it was doing things and then a minute later not doing the things, with hitting the same button, doing the same inputs, and it wasn't really doing so. I did enjoy what little time I had. It is cool. It is like the min-maxing it's infinite. I mean, even when you are successful, you're it feels not in a bad way, but you feel like you're unsuccessful because you're like, that I could have done it in less time. I could have been more efficient about it. And I really do enjoy that. But
it does that DDR thing where like at the end of the level you get a rank, S, A, B, C, and sort of taking no damage and getting the hostage out and having some time left over, getting that S rank is like really satisfying.
Right.
And I didn't really mention there's a ton of customization that's really great, where your little guys, like, you can get 5 different riot shields, and there's like everything from little machine pistols to MP9s and MP7s and MP5s to like a Dragunov or a sniper rifle or not the Barrett necessarily, I don't remember. Anyway, there's like DMR type stuff, and the G36C and the UMP45, the typical kind of room clearing, Tom Clancy style guns that you hear about. There's like 7 different kinds of grenades that are lethal and non-lethal and smoke and stuff. And it has some constraints in there where it's like, if you take the riot shield, it's this size, you cannot carry a gun because that's the biggest riot shield in the game. If you take a riot shield this size, you can carry a pistol. If you take a riot shield this size, you can have like a little Uzi guy with you. You have this give and take as you're balancing your guys. And they're persistent in that kind of roguelike way, which is rad. When you finish the training in the demo and you go to do the actual SWAT team thing, it shows you like, here's 3 missions and you have to do them 1, 2, 3. If one of your guys gets injured at the end of mission 1, you get like 20% of your health back, but now it's time for mission 2 and you just have that health level. If you all die in mission 2, you're starting back at mission 1. So I think it would have that kind of FTL, XCOM kind of vibe of, well, these are my guys. I got to keep my guys alive, and if they rank up, they get a promotion, they get a perk, where they heal more, or they have the ability to carry out an extra grenade, or they have, different things that they can kind of improve their performance with. I think that's really sick. I had one guy with a shotgun and one guy with an MP7, and that was my go-to.
Nice.
Where the shotgun absolutely, as soon as he gets in line of sight, he's blowing guys away in one shot, and then the other guy's like, on the window with the MP7 and stuff. It's like, man, this is really satisfying. I didn't know this would be so cool. And Greg, have you ever played an XCOM or what was it, Soldier of Fortune, or any of these games that are like, I don't want to say turn-based because that's kind of half accurate, but do you know what I'm saying? This kind of format where it's like you're making a game plan and then watching that plan play out. You ever check this kind of stuff out?
I haven't, and I was thinking about that as you guys were talking about it, and I really haven't, but I am now interested, and may or may not,
like I said, at least
spend the money
demo, right?
to get a game that I'll play for 17 minutes, and my wife will go, why is that on the credit card? Well, tell me what that's about, and I'm like, honey, honestly, I don't know.
We got one day our identity stolen again.
That's man.
Hackers.
Somebody named Degborne stole my credit card.
Good God.
You get when we get our tens of listeners to become tens of thousands of listeners, then we'll make money off of this dang thing. We'll just be able to buy games. But seriously, it's a free demo, people. You got to check it out. And no plan B. It will be either 30 minutes well spent learning that you like this style of game. If you've ever played an XCOM or any of these games that are kind of strategic and tactical, I think you'll definitely enjoy that style of gameplay. Deg, tell me about your Soulsborne Blood Elden Deg experience with these two games, Bloodborne, Lies of P, all that stuff.
I won't spend too much time talking about it because I feel like that's all I do on this pod is talk about Soulsborne games. But I
know it's your favorite genre these days.
It is. It's crazy. And what's really crazy about it is like I feel like 2 years ago. 2 years ago, me would be like, dude, you don't play those games. Come on, what are you talking about? Like, we don't play those games. Bloodborne it's very cool. It's hard, you know. Kind of the main gist of the game is you have a main hand weapon, like a sword, or I have like a hacksaw sort of thing. And then your left hand, your offhand, you have a gun. So you can choose like hacksaw or sword or like big ass sword, and then you can choose like pistol, blunderbuss. I think you only get 2 options for guns. So you get like a pistol or a blunderbuss, like shotgun basically. Yeah. And so you can like attack people and you can shoot people. It's cool, you know. Pretty much every enemy in the game, you know, 2 or 3 shots you know, like they do incredible damage. So it can be frustrating. It's a gothic aesthetic, which I think is cool. I had a good time, honestly. Like, I don't have much else to say because it's a Soulsborne game, and Bloodborne's been out for a long time, but I enjoyed it. Lies of P was awesome. That was really fun. That game, you're ostensibly you're Pinocchio, right?
Right.
And the graphics are obviously considerably better than Bloodborne because it's a 7-year newer game. But Lies of P, the hook of the combat is all about guarding, so like parrying, right? So in Lies of P, when you parry, if you do what's called a perfect guard or a parry that's perfectly timed, you damage or break the weapon of the enemy. And in that game, you like several of the like really hard bosses, you literally cannot beat them unless you break their weapon because they're too strong. So, anyways, that was really fun. So yeah, been really enjoying both of those games and looking forward to some more time. And
nice, dude.
Yeah, there's a clock running out on the Soulsborne genre. It's coming.
Yeah, you think so? Like for you personally, or just sort of gamers across the world will tire of this kind of thing eventually?
I think both. I think. Well, what was it? The one that came out recently, Lords of the Fallen, came out a few months ago, and that game. Know what that is. That's like a Dark Souls copy, like straight up Dark Souls copy, and like all the reviewers were basically like, "Yeah, it's the same thing, basically," you know. Right. And obviously, the games are copied for a reason because they're great.
Well, sure,
you know?
Yeah. I think a few years ago we all got hip to this Dark Souls thing and realized like, oh, this is gonna be a thing. You know, like the Ubisoft. We were complaining the other day in a previous episode, the Ubisoft open world sort of tropes. You know, the tower that you climb to the top of to reveal more of the map, the mini map that's full of icons and stuff to go do and resources to gather. And I heard one person explain it this way one time. My wife. Pause. Hello.
So, guys, as usual, this is the part of the show where Jake leaves and we say a bunch of off-color stuff.
Whoa, color? Really, Jared?
I already crossed the line. There we go. Dude, penises of all colors are welcome in this podcast.
So, Jared, Evo, that's coming up, right? What's the latest? Are there any rumor mill kind of cool stuff, or what are we looking forward to?
Can you for the audience, the plebes as they were, can you explain what Evo is? I think we already have talked about this on the previous pod, but
yeah, sure. Evo is still probably the biggest fighting game tournament of the year. It happens in the summer. It's happened in August, I think, in the past. It's happening next week, late July. There was a time when it was like the biggest by far. Now there are some tournaments that are like close to being kind of as big. But still something to get excited about. There's about 5,000 people signed up to compete in the Street Fighter 6 brackets, and there's about 5,000 people signed up to do Tekken 8 brackets, and then
That's wild.
6 other games. Actually, I think I had.
Do you have to do some sort of qualifier to be one of those 5,000? Are there like little sort of sub tournaments, or do you just like pay some money and jump in? Or?
No, there are tournaments. Street Fighter and Tekken both have their own respective like sponsored tournaments that are backed by the publishers. And that's the Capcom Cup and the Tekken World Tour, and those you do have to like qualify. Like Evo is like considered a major, I think. Right. They have CEO and Combo Breaker and Evo, and then I don't know what the fourth one is. They're all like majors, and those are all, you know, ways in which you qualify for the finals. But no, this one is just I think it's just a free sign up. Well, it's not free, you have to pay. But yeah, I mean, it's open to sign up. It's just
so
you
it's
do
literally
have to
not
pay.
Free.
It is not free. I just mean to say
It's
that it's
opposite
open
of
to
free.
anyone.
It's not free.
It's a free paid sign up. It's completely
but it's
free.
open in the sense that you like. I bet that's a real sort of refresh fest, right? Like when they open up sign-ups, you just try to sign up, or
Yeah, I would think so. But at the same time, I don't think there's like a cap, because the numbers are 5,265 for Street Fighter 6, 4,646 for Tekken 8, and then below that, there's a couple thousand for Guilty Gear, and there's 5 other games that are gonna be like the main event ones. And there's a ton of festivities that go on with that, but. Yeah, I'm excited. It's fun to tune in and watch the best play, and there's going to be some pretty big announcements. There's always big announcements for each respective game as well. I'm excited to see. They're probably going to show off some Terry and May from the King of Fighters series have been announced to be in Street Fighter 6, and so I'm excited for that because there's really nobody in 6 right now that I'm interested in playing as, but I think I'm going to try and play as Terry. So it'd be cool to see some footage on that. And then there's going to be a new character released like a week after Evo in Tekken 8. So there should be another announcement, we're hoping. Something substantial, I would hope. Bamco kind of spent the last few months like not giving any information about Lydia and not releasing her. And people are kind of cranky about that. So we want to see something good. Yeah, so Evo, looking forward to that. And it's a fun thing to get together with like my brother, and we hang out and watch, and yeah, it's a good time.
Right. Is that all streamed on Twitch, like some official channel or something?
Twitch is where all of the streams will be going down, but like Tekken specifically will probably be streamed on YouTube, because Tekken World Tour kind of like they like assume control over the tournaments usually for their own game broadcasting, which I like because I hate Twitch. I don't know when the last time you guys went on Twitch.
Real.
They show you an ad anytime they want. They'll flash you an ad.
Yep.
It could be in the middle of the final grand final set.
Yeah,
and like and they'll show you freaking they call that because sometimes there's the loser's bracket goes up and ends up playing. If you win all the way through the loser's bracket, you end up playing in the grand finals, and then you have to beat them in a full set to get a reset, and then you have to beat them again. Whereas the winner can only has to beat you once. So if a loser comes in and beats them in that set and resets that, they call, and then it goes to the final round. They'll call it the final round.
That's sick though. No, I like that as a tournament mechanic. This like, twice or it's luck, dude. Like, let's see what you got.
Right.
If you want to try to do that and come from behind, then go for it.
Yeah,
that'd be sick.
And it happens. And it's hype. It's fun. Like, even if you guys don't really care much for fighting games, I know you guys are both pretty busy, so I doubt that you'll be able to like sit there and watch a lot of it.
I'm always looking for something to put on, at work. Like I have sort of 2 monitors, and like I'll leave up something, the podcast or whatever, like to check, or music when I'm working. I can see myself throwing.
I mean, it can't be worse than watching soccer, dude. I mean,
Sure, or baseball.
or
Here
baseball.
we go.
I mean, like, come on. Soccer and baseball may be the two games that are the most fun to watch live and the worst to watch on TV.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
For real though.
BBCs, baseball cucks.
Baseball.
Are you a baseball cuck? Do you know what I mean? I can't go for it. I could never be me. So
baseball cucks.
So give it a shot if you are bored, if you got nothing else going on. It's fun. The commentary.
Commentation? All right, George W. Bush, commentation.
The commissary. The
Commissary.
Yeah, dude. The commissary. They give you free macaroni and cheese with your order of crispy French fries. No, the commentary at this point in fighting games is really, really good too. Like they especially Tekken, I feel like has the best commentators. They're hype when they need to be, and they explain kind of what's going on, and it's cool. It's a good time.
That would be my thing. Like watching something like that would be, I would want the commentators to explain what I'm seeing.
Oh, right. For sure.
And that's the thing that drives me crazy about watching soccer. I think soccer's cool. Sorry, football. I think it's cool.
Right.
But like, I want someone to tell me what the hell is going on.
Yeah, for sure. I have a I played soccer in high school and I coached soccer when I was a middle school teacher, and I legitimately enjoy soccer, but I still have to like care about the team that's playing. I've watched the World Cup a couple times, and I remember my family was on vacation in Hawaii when the U.S. was in the World Cup playing against Germany, and we were like, World War III rematch, baby. Let's go back to back.
2014?
That sounds right, yeah. It was like
2010 maybe.
We're about to be back to back to back champ.
Yeah,
It was so hype because I knew enough about soccer to be relatively educated in what I was watching. Offsides, or the goalie did this, or it was a big cross, or penalty kick, or free kick, whatever. But I only gave a shit because the teams, I had a vested interest in that team sort of, doing the thing that it was doing. Yeah. And I still feel that way now. I think there's some big European competition that was going on with soccer that, like, it was on at work. Somebody was talking about it. They had it streaming, and I was like, who's playing? Oh, the Netherlands and, like, some team I don't care about. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
All right, cool. I don't really care.
Yeah. No, I hear you. It's super easy to get into, like, a USA versus anybody match, though.
Yes.
Even if we're, like, terrible. You're like,
that's what I'm saying about the Olympics. My wife and I we love watching the Olympics. Whatever streaming service, Peacock, whatever, we're gonna get that and be pulling Team USA or whatever. And then occasionally you see a sport that we happen to be very bad at, and you're like, Canada. All right, Canada, your neighbors. Let's go with Canada. Woo,
right,
go Canada.
right. They're really good at it, dude. NBC. I've been hearing a lot of.
You mean BBC?
I meant the BBC, dude. I'm sorry. Is the BBC gonna drop the ball with the broadcast this year? I hear everybody complains about that.
Hopefully not. If I pay for Peacock for the 1 month that I'm going to pay for it to watch the Olympics, and it is not good in any way, I'm going to write a letter to my congressman.
If Bob Costas' eyeball isn't falling off of his face, then I'm not happy. Did you guys remember that year? You guys remember that year, the Olympics? Bob Costas had like an infection in his eye, and it's just like getting worse. And he just kept putting his mug on TV, and he's just like, "I'm Bob Costas," and his eyes like green. There's like pus coming out of it.
So raunchy, dude. Get that man off the television right now. You can't tell me you don't have a backup. Like, that guy gets hit by a bus. Who's on the TV? That guy? That's who I need to see.
Was it Pink Eye?
I went on Google and typed in Bob Costas eye, and the first word that came up was disease. And so I typed in Bob Costas eye disease, and it's a bunch of memes of him with pink eyes.
Yeah. Where he's like,
I love the internet, dude. Here's a top result for me. An oral history of Bob Costas's pink eye at the Olympics.
Oh, dude, I got an oral history for Bob Costas right here. Dude.
It's insane. Like, he would you go into the wrong hotel room and have a You sleep on a pill that somebody farted on?
I was
going to
say somebody. He's in the Olympic Village getting his face absolutely farted on by the female lifters.
Dude, I heard the Olympic Village is lit, dude.
Dude, that place is disgusting, man.
Did you know they have to like airdrop condoms into that piece, dude?
Yeah,
because all the imagine for a second, as happily married men that we are, imagine for a second you've devoted your life to being outrageously physically fit, top of your game, top of the class, the very, very, very best at this one thing. It's your whole life. Your whole life is to be hella fit and drinking your Ovaltine. Okay, this is it. This is the top for you. And then you get put in a place where everybody is that way with different stuff. And there's swimmers, and there's gymnasts, and there's biathletes, and there's ping pong players, and there's track stars, and just people that can squat 1,000 pounds.
Right.
Basketball players. I mean, everybody is hella fit. If you walk into that place, a single person, and there's other single people there, it's going down. It's going down.
Yeah.
All these people are getting their freak on 100% of the time. Like, let me go compete as a biathlete and then come home and get my biathlete. You know what
Dang, what kind of a biathlete?
So,
get my you know
oh my gosh, bro.
So a buddy of mine actually played golf in the Olympics a few years ago.
Shut up. That's incredible.
Yeah,
the only guy's not getting laid.
He's on the PGA Tour now.
Wow,
and
that's so cool.
Off pod, I'll tell you his name, but yeah, he was like a friend of ours in college. He was roommates with the groomsman in my, or not groomsman, the best man in my wedding, Jack. It was like his buddy's roommate. And anyways, he's on PGA Tour now, but he was in the last Summer Olympics. The first year they had golf, right? In the Olympics. And he was like, the Olympic Village is a bacchanal. He said literally, like, it's all like the most fit people in the world, and they're all drinking every night and hooking up with each other. He's like, it's exactly what you think it would be.
That's disgusting, dude. It bothers me
gnarly.
Because even given the context that you just laid out, like, obviously, yes, those people, left to their devices are gonna like end up hooking up. My issue though is like, you did just spend your whole, like, the last 4 years training and your whole life training, and like this is the culmination of it, and it's like, how are you really gonna go in there and trade it in for a little bit of? That's my issue. It's like, you can't wait. How long does the Olympics last? 3 weeks? 2 weeks?
Yeah.
You can't wait.
It's going to be a total about 3 weeks.
You can't wait 2 or 3 weeks to catch that sweet punani, dude.
But no, dude, listen. You walk in there and you see all these super fit people, and you know what you say is, "Me want the punani, dude."
Steven Seagal style, dude.
They actually play. It's actually a legal rule. The UN actually declared you have to play that song by Steven Seagal in the Olympic Village 100% of the time, and that's why. I mean, we have Steven Seagal to blame for all this. Really,
it's like, how could you not get freaky with that song playing all the time?
Devil's
then they
advocate,
get a pass.
Full on, I agree with Jared. I think people need to grow the hell up, no matter how fit you are, and exercise control over your private parts.
I just think that there's a level of mental focus. I mean, it's not unheard of for professional boxers to not they don't have relations up until their fights for like months at a time, because they're like trying to build up. Whether or not people think that that's an archaic approach, or if that works or doesn't work, whatever, it has been done. And to me, it just seems odd that this is the culmination of 4 years. Boxers spend like 6 months max getting ready for a fight usually, and then like 3 months of that is like actual like hardcore training. But these guys they train for like literally years, and they're just like, all right, time to just go in everything I can find. It's like, what? You've been training for you've been getting up at 4:30 in the morning to go running, sweating your balls off. Eating shredded chicken and green peas for every single meal, hating life, listening to the Rocky theme song, and you get there and you're just like, I think I'm just going to get a bunch of girls pregnant, actually. Psych!
Hey, guys, Casey's calling me. Give me 1 second, okay?
Good.
Yeah, sure, man.
Let's keep going.
Dude, Adam Sandler is, like, legitimately funny. Like, people love to, rag on Adam Sandler movies because, he hasn't had a good movie in, other than, he's had a good TV show, right? But, I mean, he hasn't had a good movie.
When he's making a movie that is clearly just like, hey, I had this goofy idea and I don't need the money and I'm just gonna make this movie and I'll pay my friends a bunch of money for us to go to it. You notice how there's a bunch of Adam Sandler movies that take place at resorts for like 85% of the plot. It's really just like, let me find an excuse to take a bunch of money from the producers and give it to my friends and we party at this resort. Right. And we're also shooting a movie for like some of the time.
That's why it rocks, dude, because he gets all of his friends paid with these like really dumb movies that like everybody watches. They're like not good movies, but then he comes out, he does, then like every 5 years he'll come out with like a legitimate, like Uncut Gems. You guys ever see that?
I was just going to say, and then he'll do an Uncut Gems and you're like, whoa.
Right, you can
Where was this?
Yeah.
You know?
He knows.
Have you seen that, Greg? Have you seen Uncut Gems?
That's what I was talking about. Is it good?
Very good.
So it's definitely good as far as like, it's a film that makes you feel feelings.
Is Uncut Gems, is it a movie or a TV show?
It's a movie. It's deeply uncomfortable because Adam Sandler's character is just like the whole shtick of the movie is that he is dealt a bad hand and he makes poor decisions and all of those decisions come back to bite him in the whole movie. And he's just it's sort of a tragedy in a way, but like it's got plenty of laughs along the way and some intense moments and some very, very good acting and he's in this character that's like unbreakable and sort of, definitely not Happy Gilmore. It's this total other world that's super believable in New York of him being like a jeweler who sells wristwatches and bling to like celebrities and stuff. And so there's this interplay between Adam Sandler and celebrities and basketball players and like all these people and it becomes very interesting. It's quite the movie. But it's a sort of unsettling, and the ending is like not satisfying. It's sort of like, oh God, is that what happened? Oh God, it's like really. But honestly, to some degree, I think there's movies out there that the reason they're good is because they elicit like a feeling in your gut. It doesn't have to be a good feeling, But I feel that way about a couple of movies. There's a Lars von Trier movie called Melancholia. Where Kirsten Dunst is topless, by the way. But there's
looking it up. What's it called?
Hold on, wait a minute.
I threw a bone to Greg. Lars von Trier is a crazy person, and I don't recommend all of his films. But the film Melancholia is very, very interesting, and it makes you feel feelings in your gut. I watched that on an airplane.
Sounds like it makes you feel feelings somewhere else too.
I mean,
your penis.
Yeah, dude. What's up, the Shaq? and so Melancholia by Lars von Trier is a movie that like it's not a sci-fi romp. It's not a Roman history epic. It's not Adam Sandler comedy. It's this other thing. But I also tend to enjoy those movies because they make you feel feelings. The Joker, for all of the neckbeard Reddit memes aside, The Joker is something that as a movie, was dark and heavy and made you feel feelings. Mm-hmm. I really wish the depths of the internet didn't latch onto that as some sort of national anthem. But anyway,
wow,
yeah,
dark and heavy and makes you feel feelings should be the name of this episode.
I'm just gonna title it episode 33, the episode.
Yeah. And if anybody asks, you're like British Broadcasting Channel. What do you mean?
Yeah, British Broadcasting Network, British Broadcasting Corporation. That's right. Yeah. Side note, unironically, highly recommend the show The Gentleman on Netflix. Andrade and I picked it up a little while ago. I was telling Greg before you got on, Jared, last night, I asked my wife if she wanted to keep watching this rad show that we watched 4 episodes of. We were kind of binging a little bit, with everybody out of the house. It was just us. We could watch wherever we wanted, with the volume up wherever we wanted. And I was like, hey, can we keep watching that show? You want to watch that show? She was like, no, I want to watch something romantic. And I was like, So we watched a movie off of Amazon that was like a straight to Amazon rom-com that was just not very good. Nobody recognizable in it, basically a Hallmark movie and like predictably dumb. And it was 2 hours I'll never get back. And by the end of it, she was like, that wasn't that good. I was like, yeah.
Whoa.
I was there, dude. We didn't have to watch.
Told you.
I didn't say anything. And I was like, well, it's fine, And I kind of thought that's what she was signing up for. Like she wanted to watch a cheesy
brainless
fucking movie. But yeah, The Gentleman has some star power in it. Giancarlo Esposito is in there. If you're familiar with Breaking Bad and all that. And it's this aristocratic family that has a country house out in the English countryside. It's like this big manor. They have like 20 staff. And the patriarch of the family dies and leaves his inheritance not to the firstborn as per tradition, but to the secondborn son because the firstborn is a wad. And he's like a cokehead and not trustworthy at all. Mm-hmm. And he pitches a fit, and the middle son is like trying to navigate all these like tense family waters.
What's this movie called?
It's a show called The Gentleman on Netflix. Okay. And they find out, this isn't really a spoiler, it's literally in like the description of the show on Netflix. They find out old Daddy Warbucks, before he died, he was making a bunch of money on the side because there's a secret weed farm on the property. They have like 15,000 acres in the English countryside. He's the Duke of such and such, and he's been like in with drug dealers for years, and he's making like $5 million a year just letting these people set up shop, and he's been giving them like safe haven. Anyway, it's a very funny show, and it's got some sort of action and violence and like some heart pounding stuff, but it's mostly like British dry humor, and like it's really funny. It's really cool. Hopefully I'll watch more of it at some point.
It's the guy from Sons of Anarchy, I think, right?
I haven't watched that, but I would take your word for it.
Yeah, I forget his name.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us on this wild ride that was episode 33. Hope you tune in to the Instagram account and into the YouTube channel. Not that there's a whole lot going on, but just give us a like, give us a follow, give us a subscribe, and make sure you don't miss anything. Thank you so much for listening. And don't forget, even in these hot summer days, get out there and touch some grass.
Bow